Okay, in this video, I'm going to give you 3 really simple, straightforward, easy things that you can do to add 50 to 100K a month in profit to the bottom line of your business. So if that's of interest to you, please watch, okay? If you don't know who I am, my name's Bradley Riley. At the time of filming this, I run an agency and consultant business that do revenues of around sort of the 500K a month region. I've been there. I've made loads of mistakes. So if you want to add this profit and you want to do it in an easy fashion, like if I could go back 5 years and tell myself this, I'd make an awful lot more money. And plus, all 3 of them are relatively straightforward to implement. So if you're interested and you watch to the end, I guarantee if you execute on this, you will make money. Okay, so first things first, tip number 1 is a boring one, but just because it's boring doesn't mean it doesn't make you money. And it does. That's the goal here, okay? It's all about resource allocation, okay? And essentially what I mean by this, and our core resource here is cold hard cash. How you allocate your funds within your business is one of the easiest ways that you can make more profit. And now, this may be obvious, but I'm going to give you some really actionable tips here in a minute. The first thing that you can do is reduce your costs. Now, I'm going to show you the best way. I actually only implemented this a few months ago, and oh my God, it makes me so much more bottom line profit. It allows me to keep on top of all my expenses so much better, okay? But basically what I'm talking about for tip number 1 is reduction of expenses. Because at the end of the day, you can go right now and add 5K a month to your business, or you can come in and minus 5K off the costs and basically have the same net outcome, okay? It's the same thing on the bottom line. It doesn't make any difference. And everybody, because I was this way, as an entrepreneur, you want growth, growth, growth. Most of us just focus on this, okay? And that's important because you grow top line, and then usually what you can do, I go through stages of this where you grow top line, you focus on, growth, which means you add a lot of costs. But you just need to make sure every now and again you go in and do a cleanup. And what I used to do is bolt all of these costs on, grow revenue, and sometimes the net impact in terms of net profit wouldn't even make a difference because I've added 20 grand a month to the business, but I've just added bloody 20 grand a month worth of costs also to get there. So don't do that. I'm going to show you a way now though where I don't even have to come in once a quarter and tidy those expenses up. Every single day I keep an eye on it, and every single day I make sure I'm cutting unnecessary costs, which keeps my business extremely lean and as lean as possible, which means, outside of the costs I need to operate my business, most of anything in excess of that, I'm not wasting what could be excess profits on just crap that's not actually providing us an ROI. So let me speak a little bit about a story first of all. I can't even remember where I got this from, but I heard a story, okay? And this is the best way that I've remembered this. So hopefully this story allows you to really remember the importance of this for yourself, okay? And it's just called Watch Out for the Giraffe, okay? Now, there was a business, and I heard this, I think this guy was a billionaire, right? And he made all of his monies from buying companies and improving them, okay? And one of the first things he would do when he'd buy a company is he'd literally go through every single expense, and he'd made sure to double check every single dollar that went, that's meant to be a dollar sign, every single dollar that went out of the business, okay? He bought this company that was breaking even, pretty much borderline breaking even making a loss, and found a payment, okay, and this is extreme, but this will drive the point home, a 250 grand payment that left the bank, okay, and this is a business that's struggling, and there's just $250,000 go out in one go. After trying to look at what that payment was, speaking to all these people, nobody knew what it was. After even more digging, they found out that it was 250 grand to sponsor a giraffe. Now this is a company that's borderline unprofitable, and they've spent $250,000 on a giraffe, okay? Now, yes, is that extreme? Do you have a 200, me and you we would notice if 250 grand left the bank, but I guarantee you have your relative to size own giraffes in this business right now. You have costs in your business that you have no idea leave. You have things that money you're spending right now that you're not even tracking. You've probably, you're probably paying higher subscriptions than you need to, extra users on certain account. You've just got all this money leaving that provides you no value. You've probably got giraffes right now in your business, okay? So I developed a system. After hearing this, I was like, right, I need to go and check. If a billionaire's double checking every payment that leaves, I'm going to start doing this. And ever since that day, I've started to double check every single payment. There's not a penny that leaves the business bank account right now that isn't accounted for, that I don't know where that's gone, what that's allocated towards, okay? So tip number 1 is basically to watch out for giraffes, and I want you to review every expense that leaves, okay? I want you to review every sorry, this is very slow. Every expense that leaves, okay? Every single one, line by line. I'm going to give you a tip in a minute as to how I do that and how I actually recommend you do it. But the first tip is you should know exactly where every single dollar that leaves your bank account is going, okay? Now, when you look at that dollar, you want to ask yourself one key question. Am I getting an ROI? Do not mistake a cost for an investment, because sometimes you might spend, $1,000 on something. You might spend $1,000 a day on ads, but if that's generating you $3,000 back, that is not the kind of cost that you want to cut, okay? But if you're spending $100 a month on 3 extra user accounts for your Asana that aren't being fulfilled, that is stuff that's not getting you an ROI, which you then need to remove. So you need to ask yourself the simple question, am I getting an ROI on this cost? I'm not saying to just go in and start going gung-ho and cutting all the costs, because some of those costs could be investments that are making you an ROI. So do not do that, okay? So that's step number 1. The next step that I've got to this, and this is what I do, okay, is I have an updated number right now, which is I track what I call my monthly fixed expenses, okay? Fixed costs, I'm going to call it, okay? And I have a sheet right now that lists every single cost that I have in my business, the amount that it's for, when it's going to be coming out on a monthly basis, whether it's monthly, quarterly, annually, okay? That gives me a totted up monthly average number of what my costs are going to be on an average month, okay? So let's say for you, you might top that number up and it might be $10,000, okay? But that way you at least know my costs coming out this month are going to be $10,000. It's really important that you know and you can expect what kind of costs are going to be coming out, okay? Because ultimately, as you scale a business, you're going to have a lot of fixed costs that are going to be there regardless. I mean, I'm a bit further along. I've actually got a lot of in-house costs, right? Like I have an office, payroll, staff. So whether or not I make that money or revenue, that cost is coming out. So there's a lot of costs in the business that I know I'm going to basically have to pay out regardless of what happens. You need to know what that number is for you. It might be $200, it might be $2,000, it might be 20,000, 200,000. You need to track and know that number. Okay, so first of all, go through. The best way to do this is just go and look at your bank statements for the last few months. See what costs are on there, put them all on a sheet, which ones recur every single month. And then if you've got more like annual based ones, you're on an Asana or a subscription for the annual, go into the billing area, see what it is, put it on there, figure out that number, okay? Once you've got that number, you need to do first of all, I want you to go and basically do a clear out, okay? So this is step 1 of it. You want to go through and do a clear out of all of those. Go through every single expense. Do I need it? If it's not providing an ROI, ask yourself that question. Is it providing ROI? If not, cut it. I've had days before where I've gone through my clear out stages before. Now I'm going to show you here in a second how to keep on top of this every day, give you a way better system for it. But I've had clear out days before where I've genuinely gone in and added 10K a month in profit, okay? 10K a month of crap expenses that I don't need that I've just cut off, which has gone straight to the bottom line for me, okay? So yeah. This is a way you can make immediate money after this video. Go make that list, track your fixed expenses, and then go through and have a clear out and cut all of them off. Okay? But I want to show you really the next stage, which is how you can keep on top of this. And this is really important because what happens is you need to have a way that if you add an extra user to your Asana account, that this is all up to date. But basically every single expense that leaves the bank goes onto a spreadsheet, okay? So every single one goes onto a spreadsheet like this, it's listed. And at the end of that list, it's the name of what it is and it's the amount. At the end of that, we've got some drop downs, okay? And there's a yes or no drop down. Red is no, green is yes. And I review every single expense. The first thing it says, okay, point 1 it says is, does it match, okay? Which means, does it match the number I have on my fixed expense sheet? So that way I double check that if 600 quid's come out and I've got it down as 500, is that number matching or has the cost gone up? If it doesn't match, I go in and update it to ensure my fixed cost number stays up to date at all time, okay? The next thing is basically, I'll tell you what, is ROI question mark, okay? AKA, do I need this or should I cut it? And if it doesn't provide an ROI, I go through and say, yes, I need this, yes. If not, I put no. And there's a little question thing that says, a bracket next to it says no. If you're on no right now, go and cancel this subscription and turn it to yes. And basically what that means is I can go in and I go in, I double check, does it match? I double check it if it gives an ROI. And, same thing, the whole giraffe approach is I'm ensuring this way that we've got no giraffes in the business. Really simple spreadsheet, but it's a really easy way that I review every single expense that leaves the bank. Is it providing an ROI? Yes, great. If no, I cut it. And does it match the amount on my fixed expenses sheet? If you guys go and implement both this clear out system first of all, and then implement this into your business on an ongoing basis, you will, I guarantee you there's not a single person that's watching this right now that's as lean as they could be. And by doing this, you're going to add more profit to your bottom line. Okay. Really, really important. Okay. So big tip number 2. Okay. This one's a bit more fancy. Okay. It's not just cut expenses. Number 2, really, 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 really important. Okay. It's increasing LTV by increasing your client retention. So LTV, if you double your LTV, you'll double the size of your business. Simple. If everything else stays the same, the amount of clients you bring on, whatever, right? If you double LTV, you double the size of your business. Really simple. So with that in mind, what's the best way you can increase your client retention when you have an SMMA, when you have an agency? It's by retaining customers longer. If you charge your clients $2,000 a month, okay, and you keep your clients for 3 months, you will make $6,000. That's your LTV, okay? If you charge your clients that same $2,000, but you'll keep your clients for 12 months, okay, that's $24,000. That's 4 times the value, okay, with the same amount of customers coming in. This will quadruple the size of your business, okay? And you can take this extremely, say if you keep your clients for 2 years, whatever, right, and you could keep putting that number down. So many people focus on just getting more clients. The best way, and actually this is the easier way. It's hard in some ways, but I'm going to give you some really actionable tips here in a second, which have taken me years to learn, but they're actually really simple. I'm going to tell you them in a minute on how you can retain your customers longer. If you retain your customers longer, you make way more money. It's simpler. You don't have to go through all the rigmarole of paying out sales commissions, setting the appointments, making sure they show up, overcoming objections, onboarding them, doing everything that's involved in that first month, which is all the legwork. You have reduced time in the follow-up months. You have, if you pay sales commissions, stuff like that, you don't have any of that set commissions. All of that stuff's already paid. Paid ad cost, acquisition cost, depending on how you get your customers. All of that stuff's paid for. You make more profit. You get way less time input on the longer a client stays with you, okay? And generally speaking, if you can get a client to stay with you like sort of 6 months plus, your retention tends to go through the roof beyond that because you built that really long-term relationship with them. So anyway, all great knowing that. So that's how you can increase profit really easy. All that cost has already been bolted on the front end acquiring the customer. And the longer you can retain a customer, the more profitable it becomes. Great. What are some actionable steps? I've got 3 really easy, so easy, but 3 really amazing ways that you can increase the retention of your customers when you have an agency. Or even if you've got a coaching business, if you've got any kind of recurring service-based product, this will be helpful for you. First tip, okay, is be, that's a P, by the way, proactive, not reactive, okay? Proactive, not reactive. What do I mean by this? You never want to be on the back foot in your relationship with your clients. You always want to be reaching out to them first, okay? You always want to make sure that you're touching base with them before anybody else. Like, if something's happened in an ad account, let's say you've got a Facebook ads client, okay, in your agency, and results have dropped, don't let them be the ones coming to you saying, hey, Brad, why have the results dropped? No, proactively message them. Hey, Steve, just so you know, ROI's dropped a little bit this week. I think it could be to do with XYZ factors. Just so you know, I've gone ahead, I've set up this campaign, or I'm going to go ahead and set up this campaign to combat that. Proactive, not reactive. That builds so much trust. This is such a simple thing. And you know what's funny is people always say to me, oh yeah, but that's going to take me so much more time. No, it's not. The headache you get from being reactive is crazy. Because if you're being reactive, all of a sudden then a client's frustrated at you. So then you're having to put that fire out and make them happy and deal with all that stuff. I promise you, you being on the front foot and being organized will save you time and massively increase your client happiness. So always be the one to message first. Show them that you're on top of everything. Update your clients. If you're about to make a change tomorrow, tell them. If you've edited something in the ad account to make improvements, tell them. You can never update your clients too much. Always be proactive on the front foot, not reactive. The way to think of it as well is, a client hires you to do these things. They shouldn't expect to tell you then what to do. You know, when I first was a freelancer and got started in this business, making my first couple of grand a month, you know, getting clients on Upwork, I would always just expect like, okay, a client tell me, you know, they're hiring me, they'll tell me what to do. Not the case. If you want to charge more money, increase LTV, increase retention, you need that trust. And that trust comes from them trusting in your expertise, which comes from you showing that you're all over everything, okay? And especially when it comes to even delivering bad news, if you deliver that with a plan, it's going to be well received, okay? Proactive, not reactive. So important, okay? To the point where powerfully proactive is one of our core values in our company. That's how serious we take that. The second tip for increased LTV through retention is you want daily, okay, touch point, sorry, this bloody thing. Daily touch points in onboarding. Daily touching points in onboarding. Look at that. I mean, honestly, guys, when I left school, the handwriting went out the window. So I do apologize. Daily touch points in onboarding. Onboarding is so extremely important for increased LTV. People make their mind up really quick, okay? So we speak about being proactive. You need to be extremely proactive during those early stages because that's where the clients make their judgment of whether they're going to work with you for the long term, okay? That first experience is everything. Like, you know what it's like. If you go to a restaurant and have a really bad first experience, you're probably not going to come back. With a retention-based service like an agency, it's no different, okay? Especially when they're spending thousands a month on this service. So every single day for the first 2 weeks when we onboard a client, we message them proactively, okay? Regardless if we're in back and forth communication, every day for the first 2 weeks, we will message them something proactive. Like whether it's, hey, Steve, just so you know, we're going ahead and setting this campaign up today. Hey, Steve, just a bit of an update. I've heard back from our creative team. They're currently working on the graphics. I'm going to send them over later today, okay? You basically want to update them throughout the process every single step of the way so they know, oh my God, Brad is just all over it. He's telling me what he's doing. I know that he's busy. I know what he's working on. They should never have to think, I wonder what Brad's working on right now, because that's a negative-based emotion. You want to feel like that Savoy level service, right? That Rolls Royce level service. What would you want? Put yourself in that position. Well, if I hired an agency, I'd want them to tell me every single step of the way what they were doing. And after the first couple of weeks, when you go into the ongoing relationship, we drop that down from daily updates to a minimum of 3 proactive updates a week. And if my account managers and media buyers want to do more than that, then we let them do more than that. But we say as a minimum KPI, 3 times a week after the first 2 weeks is still the base KPI, okay? You can never update clients too much, and especially during the onboarding. So daily touch points for 2 weeks, as a minimum, by the way. If they want to do 2 touch points a day for 2 weeks, be my guest, okay? Really important. And then the third thing, I'm really sorry, it looks like a B. That is a 3. The third thing here is why? You always want to lead with why in educating clients. Tell me, if you have clients right now, tell me you've not done this. Oh my God, they just don't understand. You feel like you want to bang your head against the wall. You got to take accountability for that. If a client doesn't understand, that's your fault. It's your job to educate. Yes, it's a service-based business. They're paying you to run their ads, post on their socials, do their emails, whatever, okay? Yes, they're paying you to do it. But you still almost need to act like a bit of a consultant during this process. You need to educate your clients as to what you're doing every step of the way. It builds authority for you, it builds trust, and most importantly, it helps them understand. It's your job to educate. If you educate them, they then are bought in also. And if they're bought in, that's the best thing, because they won't question you. You know, tell me you've not been there, right? When a client questions everything you do and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm the expert. I wish you'd just trust me. Your fault. You've not educated them as to why. Really simple way I tell my team to do all the time. Every single time you make a change in an ad account and you proactively update, common theme here, you proactively update your clients with what you've been working on, add the why. So, hey Steve, just so you know, I've gone in the account today and I've added in 4 new creatives. That could be good as a proactive update, but why? The reason I've done this is because the click-through rate was dropping, and I think it's because we've hit a little bit of ad fatigue, and I felt like we've needed some fresh creatives in there. The goal of this is to help increase ROI. Boom. So the client thinks, oh, okay, so click-through rate was dropping. That's why Brad's implemented new creatives, and he wants it to increase return on that investment. Even better, that's my target. Make me money, right? Why? Hey, Steve, just so you know, I've gone in and killed a few ads today. They were all through unprofitable for over a week, and I wanted to make sure the budget was allocated to our more profitable ads. So just an FYI, I've killed these 3 in case you look in the account. Boom. Educate. So yeah, this is really a bolt on to step 1. It's really good to, to send updates. It's really good to be proactive, but where possible, always add a why. And top tip, if that why can link to the goal, okay, if that why can link to their goal, so if they want to increase revenue, and to be fair, if you're an agency, like most clients want increased revenue, increased profits, growth, right? If you can link the why to the goal, so, hey, we've killed this ad because we want more budget to get allocated to these other ads, which in turn will lead to more profitable ads. The why linked to the goal is the key, okay? So that's step number 2, increase LTV from increased retention, and here are my 3 key tips on how you can do that. Okay, then the final tip here, what have I got down? Really, really powerful. Again, I don't know why it does this. I think it's because I'm doing it with my finger, but that is tip 3, okay? The final one, but also one of the ones that's going to make the biggest impact to you, okay? So really important that you do this, and that's you want to add, I actually don't even know how to, I think that's how you spell it, Ascension. See in there? Ascension / upsell options, okay? If you're an agency right now, a lot of the time you hear people say, oh, you just want to start with one service. Yes, you can, okay? Yes, you definitely can start with one service, and you should start there. You should focus, right? Person that tries to catch 2 rabbits catches neither, right? You've heard that before, and I agree, you need to focus. But what I will say is, whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads, whether it's email marketing, whether it's SMS, whether it's social media management and organic content, YouTube ads, it's all the same outcome, okay? They're different vehicles, okay? But it's the same outcome, okay? Which is, by doing Google ads helps increase revenue, increase profits, get more customers, lower CPA. Whether that's email marketing, it's all the same goal: grow revenues, grow profits for the business. So with that in mind, these different services, the way to look at it is like, you pass your driving test and you can drive different cars, okay? It's just literally, you can get to the end destination in just a different car. And that's the way to look at it. So it's the same goal in mind. If you were then going to go and say to me, right, Brad, I'm going to go and start this business, this different business, and then they don't serve the same purpose, you're completely diluting your focus. But you'll know when the time feels right. You can very simply upsell your customers. And actually what's really interesting, which I found, and we've actually tracked these metrics, a few interesting things happen. When you have a client that comes on board for, say, Facebook ads, and you upsell them to Google, not only, okay, do you increase your LTV, okay, not only do you make more profit, and technically in less time because it's the same customer, okay, but what's really interesting, all right, really interesting, retention also goes up. And I think what tends to happen is you make more money, you have increased LTV, because they do different platforms, the results, like let's say you do Facebook ads and then you implement Google ads help feed Facebook ads. So the results both get better across the board. They're probably also more reliant on you as well, right? Because you're doing their advertising across multiple platforms. You're delivering them even more value. You're taking even more off their plate. So the retention, we found clients that come on board for more than one platform with us as our marketing agency, right? They come on for Facebook and Google or Facebook and email marketing. The retention on those is so much better than of that just do one platform, okay? So yes, you make more money, you make more profit in less time, great. But as a byproduct, your retention gets better, which means you make even more money. So the LTV becomes huge on these clients. And if a client, the great thing is, it's the same outcome. So because it's the same goal, really, really easy upsell. I want to touch on something 4 here, which is kind of key. So it's like, okay, how do I upsell? The first thing to consider is what you call your activation point. AKA, at what point do you decide to do the upsell? You can't systemize this too much. You can't just say, right, after 1 week, reach out and upsell them. It doesn't really work like that. It needs to be a lot less cookie cutter. Because you have to really think, why would somebody ascend? Okay, why would somebody go and do a different platform? Well, number one, they've built the trust with you, they love you, and they're really happy and they want to keep and see more success. Okay, so you've got the option of like an upsell when things are going really well. Okay, or you could also use it a bit of a downsell when things aren't going so well, which we will touch on here in a second. But the best thing to think is when things are going well, and maybe you've worked together a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you've come in, you've made an immediate impact, you've been really proactive, they're really happy with everything. Then if you go on to say, right, our target is to get you to 100K a month. Right now we're at 60K. When we started working together, you're on 30K. So we've doubled your revenue. I want to keep that growth and I want to keep pushing towards our $1 million a year target that we've got. One of the best ways I think we can do that is by adding in Google. I've had a look, I've done some keyword research, and I realized that there's good volumes for that and a big opportunity for your business to make a strong profit. Are you interested in having a chat about that? Okay, really, it's not a hard sell, it's not a big close, it's driven with value, with the outcome in mind, the goal in mind, which is the same goal because we're just helping achieve the same thing with a different platform. Yeah, really simple. And again, the great thing is when you do things like Google, you can use certain tools like SEMrush to actually look at keyword volumes and cost per like clicks and stuff like that, which is really helpful. For clients running Facebook ads right now, and they've got 100,000 people on an email list, and they've got really suboptimal, sequences, and they're not doing any broadcast emails, they're not doing any SMS, they're leaving money on the table. So it opens up a big door to say, hey, do you want us to just have a look at this to see if we can help you any further? Really, really easy. But you want to wait to the right activation point. You don't just want to say, I'm going to reach out after 7 days. No, be constantly proactive, over deliver. And when the time's right, okay, when things are going well and you want it to get even better, you can jump in. So you have to consider that. The second thing is when you can use it as a downsell. So this will also help increase LTV, because normally when a client could have churned, okay, they might just leave altogether and they stop paying you any money. All of a sudden now you've got it's not even really downsell, it's more like a cross sell really. You're moving them across to a different platform to retain that revenue, okay? Which we've done so many times. We've brought a client on for Facebook ads. We thought it was going to go really well. After a bunch of testing, maybe they make a bit of an ROI, but they're really not doing as good as we thought. But they love the relationship. They love how proactive they are. Guess what we do? We move them sideways. So when perhaps they might just leave and we stop billing from that client, we move them sideways over to a platform like Google. And we've had so many times where they've moved over to Google from Facebook. They've done, say, 2 or 3 months on Facebook. It's really not worked out. They move sideways over to Google and then have been a client for 12 plus months, adding an extra 24K a year off of this client. Where if we never had that ascension, upsell, cross-sell option available by moving them to a different platform, we never would have been able to actually do that. Okay, so yeah, really, really, really important. That will help you increase your retention, make more money, give you ascension offers. And look, you can go onto Upwork right now. You can find contractors, okay? You can find people that do TikTok ads, email marketing, SMS stuff, Facebook ads, Google ads, Bing ads, We even got some clients doing Bing ads, really becomes a no-brainer in the SMMA space. And I don't really feel like anybody ever talks about that. Everyone's like, SMMA, it's Facebook ads. Well, no, if you can offer full stack, you will make more money, full stop. So hopefully you found a ton of value. Again, if you're above, and only if you're above 10K a month as an agency or coach, we are just about to launch a new offer where we're going to guarantee an extra 6 or even 7 figures in profit, bottom line profit, to your agency or coaching business. Check out down below to learn a little bit more about how that works. We're extremely selective. And again, this is a side passion project. I've already got my successful business over here, which is running. So we really want to come in and make a difference. If you're doing above 10K a month as an agency, coaching, consultant business, you want to add an extra 6 or 7 figures in profit guaranteed, and click down below, learn a little bit more, book a call, and see how we can help. Thanks a ton, and I'll see you in the next vid.